Trump will address the United Nations General Assembly for the first time this morning. The White House says the president's speech will make a declaration of American values. The president is expected to ask other nations to work together to confront common threats and dangers. Margaret Brennan is at the UN, where one of Mr. Trump's targets will be front and center during his speech. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, North Korea will be seated right in the front row as President Trump addresses this gathering of nearly 200 leaders. And he will urge those countries to take more responsibility for their own security. It's part of his America First worldview. But then he's going to ask them for their help in confronting both North Korea and Iran.
As far as North Korea is concerned, I think most of you know how I feel.
White House officials say President Trump will be extremely tough on the North Korean menace, calling for a united front to isolate Kim Jong-un and his growing nuclear arsenal. The president is also expected to pressure Iran to end its support for terrorism and stop meddling in the Middle East. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said Mr. Trump will not avoid confrontation.
He slaps the right people, he hugs the right people, and he comes out with U.S. being very strong.
President Trump indicated on Monday he may withdraw from the international agreement to freeze Iran's nuclear program.
You'll see very soon.
It's a move supported by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I look forward to discussing with you how we can address together what you rightly call is the terrible nuclear deal with Iran.
But French President Emmanuel Macron, whose country was at that negotiating table, urged the U.S. to remain committed to the Iran deal.
Thank you very much.
The two leaders also discussed Mr. Trump's earlier decision to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
The United States will cease all implementation of the non-binding Paris Accord.
While diplomacy is the president's focus this week, he again made known his affinity for military might.
It was one of the greatest parades I've ever seen.
President Trump spoke glowingly of his July trip to the Paris Bastille Day parade.
We may do something like that on July 4th in Washington, down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Now, White House officials say the president will also pledge to take further action against the regime in Venezuela if they don't fully restore democracy. Gayle, that shows an interventionist message from a president who, up until now, has really articulated an America First isolationist worldview.
All right. Thank you, Margaret. We'll all be watching today. Thanks a lot.